Good morning, students. I am Vishnu Prasad here, Assistant Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering, BITM Ballari. Okay, so I am going to teach the subject about the applied thermodynamics. In that module 5, already Jayaprakash sir has taught you module 4 and Raju Jadar has explained module 3. So I am going to start with the module 5 first chapter, that is reciprocating compressor. So first of all, you have to know what is compressor. So a compressor is a machine. A compressor is a machine which compresses the air above atmospheric pressure and delivers the same to the storage vessel. So it is nothing but a machine which compresses the air. It takes the atmospheric air and compresses to the higher pressure, and it will be stored in the receiver vessel, or it is called as a storage vessel. So further it can be used for the various applications. This pressurized air can be used for various applications. So here I am going to explain you some of the applications. Like most of the applications are used in pneumatic drilling machines, paintings, gas turbines, plants, jet engines, air motors, some of the lifts, and even some in industrial areas like closing and opening of gates. And also in most of the automobiles we are using the compressed air. So in automobile field, like we have a air braking systems and air pneumatic door opening and closing systems and pneumatic lifts. It is also used in the automobile system. So these are some of the applications that are we are going to use the compressed air. So next we are going for the classification of compressor. So compressors can be mainly classified into three types. So first one is according to the number of stages. So we have a single stage and multi-stage compressor. So what do you mean by single stage compressor means if the air is compressed in only one cylinder, then it is called as the single stage compressor. So if the air is compressed in the two cylinders, then it is called two or more cylinders, then it is called as the multi-stage compressor. So that is about the first classification, that is according to the number of stages. So next we have according to the action. So according to the action we have two, single acting and double acting. So what I mean by single acting compressor means if the compressed air is acting on only one side of the piston, then it is called as the single acting compressor. So the air will be compressed on only one side of the piston, that is called as the single acting compressor. So next we have the next double acting compressor. Here the air will be compressed on both the sides of the piston. This is called as the double acting compressor. So that is about the according to the action. So the next is the third classification, that is according to working principle. So according to the working principle means we have reciprocating compressors, rotary compressors, and screw compressors. So in reciprocating compressor, what happens means due to the movement of the piston from left to right in case of horizontal cylinders and top to bottom or bottom to top in case of vertical cylinders. So due to the reciprocating of the piston, the air will be compressed. So such compressors are called as the reciprocating compressor. So next classification under the according to the working principle we have rotary compressor. So rotary compressor are nothing but due to the rotation of the shaft or the lobes, okay, we are going to compress the air. So such compressors are called as the rotary compressors. So that is about the classification about the compressor. Okay, next we have the working principle of the compressor. So we have mainly two working principles. We have a suction stroke and the compression stroke. So during this stroke, the piston moves from top dead center to bottom dead center. So while the movement of the piston from top to dead center to the bottom dead center, the inlet valve will be opened at point 4. You can see the previously diagram we have. You can see that in the PV diagram here. 1 to 2 is nothing but the compression that is taking place, and 2 to 3 is nothing but the pressurized air will be delivered. That is, I am explaining about with respect to the PV diagram. 1 to 2, compression of the air takes place. 2 to 3, delivery of the compressed air takes place. And 3 to the 4 is nothing but the free expansion, it is called. Okay, so where in the suction stroke, okay, the point at the point 4, inlet valve will be opened and the air is sucked into the compressor. Okay, that is about the suction stroke. At the end of the first stroke, cylinder is completely filled with air. Means when the that is at the point 1, the cylinder is completely filled with the air. And next we have the compression stroke. That is nothing but the way piston moves from bottom dead center to the top dead center. So that is called as the compression stroke. So if you look at in the PV diagram, the piston moves from point 1 to the point 2. Okay, so that is, in this case, the pressure rises from P1 to P2. So at the point 2, as soon as the piston reaches to the point 2, the delivery valve will open. Okay, and high pressurized air is swept to the receiver tank at constant pressure from P2 to the P3. That is point 2 to 3 is nothing but the constant pressure. It is called as the delivery of the pressurized air. So at point 3, delivery valve closes. As soon as the piston reaches the point 3, the delivery valve will be closed and the inlet valve will be opened. Okay, so that is about the suction stroke and the compression stroke. So here I am going to explain some of the important points. So the point A is nothing but the inlet pressure. It is also called as the suction pressure and it is denoted by P1. Next we have delivery pressure, that is the P2. Okay, and the ratio of P2 by P1, that is nothing but delivery pressure by suction pressure. It is called as the compression ratio and it is denoted by R suffix P. Okay, next we have a compression capacity. It is defined as the volume of air delivered by the compressor in meter cube per hour or meter cube per minute. This is called as the compression capacity. So compression capacity is nothing but it is defined as the volume of the air delivered by the compressor in meter cube per hour or meter cube per minute. Suppose if you want to purchase any compressors, it will be explained in terms of capacity. That is nothing but in meter cube per hour or meter cube per minute. Okay, so that is about the compression capacity. Next we have free air delivery. So free air delivery, it is the actual volume of the air delivered by the compressor when reduced to normal temperature. Normal temperature is nothing but usually after compression the temperature will be risen. It will be reduced to normal temperature by cooling. Okay, so this delivery of air at normal temperature is nothing but it is called as the free air delivery and it will be in meter cube per second. So next we have the stroke volume. Okay, so stroke volume, it is equal to the volume of the air sucked into the cylinder during the suction stroke. So nothing but when the piston moves from 4 to 1, the volume of the air will be sucked inside. So that is called as the stroke volume. So and that also depends upon the bore diameter and stroke length of the piston cylinder. Okay, so and it is given by V equal to pi by 4 d square L into 1 for single acting and Vs is equal to pi by 4 d square L into 2 for double acting cylinders. Okay, so you have to multiply by 1 if it is a single acting cylinder and you have to multiply by 2 if it is a double acting cylinder. So that is about the stroke volume. So these are the basic things, that is about the suction stroke, compression stroke and stroke volume. Next we are going to derive the work done for a single stage reciprocating compressor without clearance. Okay, So we shall derive an expression for single stage work done by a single stage reciprocating air compressor without clearance. So without clearance in the sense there is no clearance between the end of the piston and piston cylinder head at the end of the stroke. So in this we have to calculate what is the work required to compress the air. So in that again we have three cases. The first case is the isothermal process, means if the compression takes place isothermally, and the case 2 is adiabatic compression, and the case 3 is the polytropic process. So now we will derive the expression for work required to compress the air. So we can look into the case 1 here. Okay, so here 1 to 2 is nothing but the isothermal compression. So the compression of the air takes place from 1 to 2 isothermally, and 2 to 3 is nothing but the delivery, and 3 to 4 is the free expansion, and 4 to 1 is the suction. That is with respect to the PV diagram. So initially let us consider P1, V1 and T1 be the pressure, volume and temperature of air before compression. Okay, that is at the point 1. So as soon as the compression takes place, the thermodynamic properties changes to P2, V2 and T2 that is after compression. So we know that work done per cycle is nothing but the area under the curve. So if you look into the PV diagram, the area of the curve taken by the compression without clearance is given by 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4 and 4 to 1. So that is nothing but area 1 to 2 plus area 2 to 3. That gives the total area under the PV diagram. So in that we have to minus the area under the 4 to 1, so that the work done by the compressor under within the area 1 2 3 4 1 is given by area 1 to 2 plus area 2 to 3 minus area 4 to 1. So if you look into the PV diagram, the curve 1 to 2, I already told you this is for the case 1 isothermal process. So for the isothermal process, which I have studied already in the basic thermodynamics, what is the work done by the isothermal process? So it is starting from point 1 and ending at point 2. So the isothermal process, work done for isothermal process, that is for the area under the curve 1 to 2 is given by P1 V1 ln of V2 by V1. So this is the for the work done for the isothermal process. So next we have next area plus area 2 to 3. So if you look into the PV diagram, 2 to 3 is nothing but the constant pressure process. So for the constant pressure process, the work done is given by P2 into V2, because at that point 2 the pressure is P2 and its volume is V2. Okay, so minus area under P1 V1. Why I am taking minus area under P1 V1 means after completion of the cycle it reaches back to the point 1. So at that point the pressure will be P1 and the volume will be V1. So it is nothing but P1 V1 ln of V2 by V1 plus P2 V2 minus P1 V1. So the net work done is given by P1 V1 ln of V2 by V1. Here work done by the system P2 V2 and P1 V1 gets cancelled. So we will get P1 net work done is given by P1 V1 ln of V2 by V1, or it can also be written as P1 V1 ln of P2 by P1. So that is the work done during the isothermal process. So next for adiabatic process. Okay, for adiabatic process, if you look into the case 2, it is for work done for an adiabatic process. So again the area is nothing but under the curve 1 2 3 4 1, that is nothing but area 1 to 2 plus area 2 to 3 minus area 4 to 1. So 1 to 2 in the previous case it was isothermal process, now it is the adiabatic process, that is PV raised to the power of gamma equal to constant for adiabatic process. So for area under 1 to 2 is given by P2 V2 minus P1 V1 by gamma minus 1. Okay, plus work done at the point 2 is given by plus P2 V2 minus work done under 4 to 1 is given by minus of P1 V1. Okay, so in the above equation, P2 V2 minus P1 V1 by gamma minus 1 plus of P2 V2 minus P1 V1. Let us take the numerator part outside, P2 V2 minus P1 V1. So if you take that P2 V2 minus P1 V1 as a common outside, the equation reduces to P2 V2 minus P1 V1 and in the bracket 1 by gamma minus 1 plus 1. So work done by this cycle can also be written as, if you simplify in the bracket 1 by gamma minus 1 plus 1, we are going to get gamma divided by gamma minus 1 and in the bracket P2 V2 minus P1 V1. So work done by cycle can also be written as gamma by gamma minus 1 and again in this bracket let us take P1 V1 outside. So it can be simplified into P2 V2 by P1 V1 minus 1 inside the bracket. But since it is an adiabatic process, we know that P1 V1 raised to the power of gamma is equal to P2 V2 raised to the power of gamma. So this can be written as V2 by V1 is equal to P1 by P2 to the power of 1 by gamma. So now in the above equation, which is in the bracket P2 by P2 V2 by P1 V1 minus 1, replace V2 by V1 in terms of P1 by P2 to the power of 1 by gamma. So work done by the cycle will be given by gamma minus 1 P1 V1 into P2 by P1. So in place of V2 by V1, we are going to replace it by P2 by P1 to the power of minus 1 by gamma. We know that V2 by V1 is P1 by P to the power of 1 gamma. So V2 by V1 can also be written in terms of, if you interchange the pressures, it will become minus 1 by gamma. So minus of 1. So further simplifying, you will get as gamma by gamma minus 1 P1 V1 and in the bracket P2 by P1 to the power of gamma minus 1 by gamma minus 1. So P1 V1 can also be written as MR T1. So work done by the cycle for single stage air compressor without clearance by adiabatic process is finally written as gamma by gamma minus 1 MRT1 in the bracket Rp to the power of gamma minus 1 by gamma minus 1. So P1 V1 can also be written as MRT1. Suppose instead of volumes, if he has given the pressure, we have to apply this formula, or if he has given the volumes, you have to apply the above formula, that is gamma by gamma minus 1 P1 V1 and in the bracket P2 by P1 to the power of gamma minus 1 by gamma minus 1. So that is the work done for an adiabatic process. So now the case 3 is nothing but the polytropic process. The derivation for the case 3 is similar to the adiabatic process, but the only thing is the gamma is replaced by N. So finally you will get work done per cycle for single stage air compressor for a polytropic process N by N minus 1 P1 V1 Rp to the power of N minus 1 by N minus 1. Okay, so that is about the work done for the single stage air compressor without clearance. And in the next topic, I'll explain you about the work done for single stage reciprocating air compressor with clearance.